Hello, Internet. Welcome back to the Fast Travel Lounge. You're listening to episode 81. My name is Patrick. I'm joined by Saif. Say hi.
Yellow.
And Steve. Say hi.
Bonjour.
Well, I mean, at least that one was a hi, even if it was in a different language.
I don't know if that was bonjour or banjo, the way he pronounced it.
No, I mean, it was two words, bone and jaw.
Do you think the French adaptation of Banjo-Kazooie is Bonjour-Kazooie?
Ooh, hang on. So it'd be bonjour, kazoo. I don't know.
I was also trying to think of a funny way to say kazooie in French, and I was just drawing a blank, man.
Bonjour à chewy.
Bonjour and hon hon hon.
Yeah, there we go. Bonjour sacré bleu.
Man, we're getting cancelled so fast.
Yeah, we are. These are the sort of questions that we ponder here on Fast Travel Lounge. Right. What do we talk about in the preamble? Oh, not really gaming news, but kind of, I guess, personal news. I got roped into a Magic the Gathering draft tournament on the weekend.
Oh, very cool.
Did you get the one ring?
So that is what we were playing. No one got the one ring. Actually, I think one person did get a common the one ring. I guess context.
I don't think you can because there's just one copy of the one ring.
I thought maybe it was like a Frodo or something. Okay, so context. I don't play Magic the Gathering. I had to learn the rules as I went. I somehow went 3-2 in terms of games. It was just a friendly with like a bunch of mates and
cool.
stuff.
That's good.
Drafted an entirely blue deck, which was funny because on the second round, everyone said, "Man, there's so many good blue cards in here. Is no one drafting blue?" And then I shat my pants.
I don't know what blue means.
You're sitting on money now. Everyone's gonna want them. You can sell them for an exorbitant price.
Well, what's funny is someone went into it specifically to money draft. They just picked all the cards expensive.
Oh.
I also don't understand the colors, Steve. Don't worry. Apparently, blue is control, and someone told me that your games will take a while, and they were right.
So you're playing man, I had a really funny thing to say and it completely fell out of my mind. So you're playing the Thinking Man game, eh?
You're right. That was.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know where it went.
Sometimes you just have to let it go, Stephen.
Honestly, I also don't know where that one went. Anyway, so so that was a few hours on Saturday. That was quite fun. It was, of course, because there is a Magic the Gathering. I don't know what you'd call it, like a Lord of the Rings expansion pack. I play so little trading card games normally. I don't know. Like everyone's probably screaming into the microphone. It's like some sort of event. And it has some sort of big name. I just turned up and vibed for the afternoon. It was pretty fun. But of course, the big news in the last 24 hours is that someone in Ontario found the One Ring.
Yeah, my favorite thing about that is he sent it to a grader and they still gave it a 9 out of 10.
Really?
Like, it's in mint condition. It's absolutely perfect. But they still refused to give it a 10 out of 10. They cheaped him out by 1 point.
Wow. People are still predicting it's going to be worth possibly millions to the right buyer, which...
What's that, the Black Lotus or something, and that's worth like $2 quadrillion? Like,
true.
I don't know, something about trading card people and their money.
Yeah, I don't know anything about what the card is, but I have heard the Black Lotus is expensive. I would say that he would sell the One Ring to Logan Paul, but I don't know if Logan Paul plays Magic the Gathering because he's got so many first-generation Charizards around his neck.
I don't think he even plays Pokemon cards, to be honest.
Can I also mention that Logan Paul is currently in WWE again, ruining storylines? Fuck that dude. He had a match, had Money in the Bank, botched a spot, and he's being given a SummerSlam spot now. Look,
Seth, I'm going to cut honest with you, big fella.
I know no one else cares, but it's Logan Paul and I need to vent.
I can vent with you in solidarity. That's my offering here.
More importantly, but State of Origin Game 3, fellas. Let's go!
No one cares.
Steve, I don't know how to tell you this, big fella.
Mine at least tied to Logan Paul.
We'll see how we go. It's not looking good. It's Game 3. New South Wales has already lost 2.
There shouldn't be a Game 3 because New South Wales already lost there too.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's best 2 out of 3 wins the series, but they always play the 3 games.
But it's done. Why do the third game? No one cares at that point.
And why do they do Origin in the middle of the season? Why don't they do it at the end? Like,
to tire out the good players. so that the worst teams have a better chance at grand finals.
The shit teams don't.
Wow, that's so smart, actually, Seth. Holy shit!
It's not entirely wrong, but like what 2 weeks ago, or actually 6 weeks ago when they did Origin Game 1, and it was like 8 of the Panthers players were in the team. Huh? Interesting. So it literally just becomes an opportunity for the Panthers to lose. Just give us the bye. Either play it at the end of the season or the start of the season. I don't care.
Doing it at the start of the season is actually a smart idea because it's like the introduction to getting the season started. But you know what? That's enough sports ball comment from me. That's enough.
Hang on. I'm going to call you out being racist first. I got to call you out being racist first. Well, they do Indigenous round at the start of the season, so they couldn't do it at the start of the season, could they, Seth?
I didn't know they did an Indigenous round because I don't keep up with sports ball.
Gotcha. Classic bait.
With how badly this country treats Indigenous, I'm surprised they got anything at all.
Hey, you know what? Let's move on. Even I thought of something, and I was like, you know what? Even joking is going to put me in jail.
It was a trap.
It was
a perfectly laid trap.
I fell for the reverse,
the bait for Cusco.
Reverse go to Threads jail.
Anyway, if someone would like to buy an above average blue deck, that's a weird sentence. Let me know.
Was it good that the deck was above average, or was that you that were above average?
How do we separate the player from the game? Really,
I'm just not sure how big your deck is.
It's. I mean, get
a
low angle and some good lighting. I always do. Make sure to wrap the deck in sleeves to protect it.
That's just genuinely good advice, but
it is. Why? What were you talking about?
You just don't want to wrinkle in the corners.
You really don't want to dog ear any of your deck. Unfortunately, it is filled mostly with commons, which that one isn't even a pun. Anyway, why don't we go into Round the Lounge for this week? I guess I started. I might as well continue. Other than that, I have a quick Ragnarok update that will actually be an update because a fair bit's happened since before, and that's basically been my week. What have you been up to? Eeny, meeny, miny, Seth.
Steven.
No, he said Seth. I finished Final Fantasy 16. I'll just give a quick preamble of what I think of that game before shutting up forever on the main podcast and leaving it for the spoiler cast. I started up Pizza Tower, just done the first world of that, and Pokemon went to sleep.
Finally, the Honk shoes went from dreams. Actually, shit, that's a much more clever pun. I should have said from reality to dreams. Damn it. Steve, what have you been up to?
I've also been doing a lot of honk shooing and in the Pokemon sleep.
Wow, it's great to see that Pokemon sleep went from reality to dreams.
How can it be a lot when it just came out last night? How many naps have you taken during work?
0. Well, hang on. When we get into it, I've got a lot more to say about that. There's a couple of things that I've got a lot of problems with this. But when we get into it, better strap yourselves in because you won't be going to sleep when I'm fucking ranting about this. Be very engaging.
Wow.
Pikachu set my alarm for 30 minutes after Steven starts talking.
Oh, good. I might as well do the Ragnarok update, get that out of the way, given how old that game is relative to everything else we're talking about. I guess, spoiler alert, there is a character in Heimdall, named Heimdall, and I killed him.
Ooh.
And actually, I might have said that last time. I don't quite remember.
Yeah,
anyway,
I think we talked about Heimdall last time.
Yeah. Okay, well, he's still dead. But the only other thing that's happened story-wise since then is I'm still in Vanaheim, and I think I'm doing a lot of the post-game content because, oh boy, is Vanaheim just the hub world that just keeps on giving.
Oh yeah, Vanaheim's the one that ends up expanding into like this big wasteland, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the one. There's some absolutely fucking crack-addled development team in Santa Monica Studios that just went, but what if we just make Vanaheim like a mini No Man's Sky? Just everywhere. It's like, oh, here's this pathway you haven't explored. And then, oh, you're in trouble when it says a Mystic Gateway has been added to the map. And I'm like, okay, so this will expand a bit further. And then you just bump into someone who wants you to do something. And then it says, random side quest started. And you're like, oh, great. That's the 8th one in this area. Meanwhile, every so often someone will be like, oh, isn't it crazy that like Ragnarok is effectively started? We should return to Sindri's house. And everyone else is like, yeah, but there's also exploring to do. And I think that might have been something that you brought up, Saif, in the past, saying that people are like, hey, you know that whole Ragnarok thing? That's still going on.
So hang on.
Anyway,
what? Oh, as much as I don't want to preempt a longer discussion because it seems like you're already finished, but would you say it's a good thing that the world keeps expanding? Like, is it expanding for the sake of okay, there you go. Hang on.
No, so it is. But the thing is, God of War has been really good about giving you a mechanic, and then the mechanic is obviously used for traversal, and then the game's you will try and do anything to use this mechanic, like hit it with your axe or something, and then one of the characters will be like, oh, we can't use that yet, and you're like, all right, fair enough, I'll come back later. Meanwhile, in Vanaheim, there's none of that, because as far as I can tell, I have everything unlocked traversal wise, and so really it's just the limit of my imagination in terms of how far I traverse, and I kind of wish, and it feels like an absolute backstab to say, but I kind of wish the developers would gate some of the content a bit harder.
Okay.
To like cut me off. I need to be cut off. I'm at the bar. It like closing time has played 3 times now. I know I should go home and definitely not drive, but at the same time, I sort of need to be told that, you know, because otherwise I'll just continue existing. I'll continue vibing.
Yeah, they're just called last drinks, but then at the same time, the bar across the street is having $2 shots or something.
What's that? St. Patrick's Day round 2? Yeah, no.
Hey, wait a minute. Your name's Patrick.
It is.
When's St. Stephen's Day?
They do call me a saint.
I've never once had anyone call you a saint.
I don't know who they is either, but when you meet them, they'll be like, yeah, that's Patrick.
How come Patrick gets a whole day? We want days for Seth.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did Saif chase the snakes out of Ireland? No, that was me. Like, literally me.
Yeah? Where'd they go? Seems like everybody else should hate you for putting snakes into their plane.
Mean? All of the snakes went into Woody the cowboy's boot.
I thought they went onto a plane. Then Woody hates you then.
Fool. He only has a snake in his boot. A singular one.
Yeah? Do you know what the plural for snake is, Saif?
Snakes on a plane.
No, it's snake.
Didn't Nokia take all the snakes and put them into that game?
Red snake, blue snake.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a reference I'm not getting.
Liquid snake. Snake on a plane. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Are you from Snake's Revenge?
Anyway, so that's where I'm at in Ragnarok. I don't actually have any idea how close I am to finishing the game, but I'm assuming I'm getting pretty close given that I have effectively started Ragnarok at this point. And it's never good when your main objective is to what feels like gear up for the final assault.
Did you do the Leonardo thing where I said, hey, it's Ragnarok, and you were like, whoa, what? Yeah, and you pulled out the game case. What? It says that on the game case. Oh, what?
Yeah, that was me. That was me. I had to take a moment. The amount of times
they actually say Ragnarok in the game, you'd be doing it pretty constantly.
I mean,
you should see me when I'm watching an episode of The Simpsons. Far out.
It's crazy when Kratos turned and looked into the camera and said it's warring time.
This truly is the God of War Ragnarok.
So chances are I won't have finished it by next episode, but maybe you'll get a little tidbit of an update as a treat. But at least until then, why don't we let Saif talk about good it is to prematurely finish.
That's not where I was going to go at all.
You promised you wouldn't talk about this on the podcast.
I said it was an accident. It's never happened before.
Hey,
it's never happened before. So I'm just really tired from work.
Sorry, I just assumed that by the 16th round you would have built up a bit of stuff. You know what? Don't worry about it. Tell me about Final Fantasy. Tell me about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, so I finished Final Fantasy 16 after 74 hours, it says on the PlayStation 5.
Now that's a marathon.
big game. I saved a couple of side quests for the very end that I thought were going to pay off emotionally before going into the final mission. Yeah, as a treat. They were going to be very nice side missions to go in before the final boss, and it's evil because there's a side mission for a character named Jill, and I saved hers for last specifically. And after finishing your side quest, it goes, yeah, so you've just unlocked her as a party member for the rest of the post game. And I'm like, cool, I've done everything. I specifically left her for last so I could go to the final boss with like the best emotional high. And it was the best emotional high, but now I've lost out on gameplay time with her.
No, Seth, I gotta ask, is it Jill or is it Gil?
Jill. Gil is the money.
Making a GIF thing, but no, I did know that Gil was the money.
Gil from The Simpsons.
No, they actually have both. So fuck you.
Yeah. Well, have fun not being able to play with Jill as a party member for the post game content. So fuck you.
You know what? I know better now, so I'm going to unlock her properly for when I do Final Fantasy mode, which I'm putting off for a little bit. Because
is that the name of the New Game Plus?
Yeah, that's the New Game Plus, where they rearrange the enemy locations, they give bosses new moves, and they increase the level cap to level 100.
Is it just like the classic, I'm just going to double their health and double their damage, and it's not really hard, it's just fucking grindy?
No, it's actually hard. They actually get new moves, and they bring in late game enemies earlier into the game.
They call it Bikini Bottom because everybody's a sponge.
Ah, that was clever.
Thank you. My name is Patrick Starr. I live under a rock. Please send help.
Hey, wait a minute. You're the guy from the fucking TV show.
Oh, so that's what Sandy Cheeks means.
No. That one is what we in the biz call a double entree. But close. Actually, if you've met Sandy, it's a triple entree. Anyway, no, that's cool. I need to know, is the friend that spoiled the ending for you still breathing?
Unfortunately, yes. Only because he is in a different country, so I cannot get to him right now. The package is on its way.
The package?
In Minecraft, right? In Minecraft.
The package in Minecraft, right? Seth, please say yes.
I cannot tell a lie.
Oh no.
He's going to jail.
Seth's friend, if you're listening, it's been a pleasure, and leave the rest of the spoilers away from my group chat, because I will eventually play Final Fantasy.
I tell you what, though.
You tell me what?
It has been a ride going onto social media again after finishing that game, because it turns out this is a very divisive game, and most of the opinions I'm seeing are people absolutely hating on everything about the game. Other podcast groups I listen to are not favorable among the game, and I'm like, early spoiler for when I do the spoiler cast. This is like a top 5 video game for me. This is like hitting all of the highs for me, and anything that I say negative about the game is like a nitpick or could be slightly better, but in the end, I don't care about them enough to detract from the overall value of the game. And I've been absolutely in love with the game, so it's really weird to go in and see, well, that's wrong. It's very common for me to go online and see people hating the game I love, because this has been happening with Final Fantasy 16, Stranger of Paradise, the ending of Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3.
I can't believe you gaslit me into buying
all
this.
All of the Square Enix games I love over the last few recent years have had so many people online just coming to bash their skulls, and I'm like, I just wanted a day after finishing this game to like sit back, think about the ending and relax, and no, I'm just being thrown into the wolves den right away.
No, that's fair. I get the same every time I see a Need for Speed Undercover. Wait, no. Wait, is it Undercover? Man, that's terrible.
I don't know what the fuck
I feel like Undercover's already been done. Unleashed? No. Oh, man. Oh, I'm really in the weeds now. What is it? What's the one that just came out?
Oh god, yeah.
Carbon.
No, that's a very old one.
Unbound.
Yes.
Unbound. Yeah, that's what I said.
You and what army? Anyway.
What?
Yeah, no, it's like you heard me. It's like that for me where I really enjoyed it. I think I put it as one of my top 5 last year. I fully appreciate all the problems that it has, and I think that was the main takeaway of me talking about it, is that the highs are high, but the lows are very low. But it's really sad seeing a lot of people just absolutely going in on it. Like the number of people that are just like, remake Undercover, remake Need for Speed Underground, or stop making games. And it's like, I don't know, I think it had some merit. Like,
well, no, it becomes that thing.
Execute a little bit.
It's because people have a nostalgia for it, and it's like old thing good, new thing bad. Like they don't have the same nostalgia.
And the funniest part is that if they just remade, if they adjusted nothing about the game but just remade Need for Speed Underground or Need for Speed Underground 2, I remember that game weirdly well, and it did a lot of things right, but it would not hold up to games today just as like a bar for bar remake. It did not. It's like playing Simpsons Hit and Run. You appreciate it because you know that you played it as a kid and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But to give it to someone who hadn't played it as a kid, they'd be like, this isn't a good game.
Yeah. And a lot of those games don't really hold up. A lot of games don't hold up. Like
that
new
might
mechanics
be.
come out.
I'd be very curious to go and play those because I wasn't a big Underground or Underground 2 player, so I don't have the nostalgic emotional attachment to those games like other people would. So I'd be interested to go back and give them a try myself just to see how they hold up.
I feel like I should probably take some of the heat out of all the people furiously typing into what are the kids on now? Threads?
Yeah, Threads. We're all on Threads.
Wait, are we on Threads?
We're not on Threads. Not until they get a browser version and fix their timeline.
I'm on Threads as well. Don't worry. I can ship posts for us.
I don't mean that playing through a remake of Underground 2 would be that it's a bad game. I'm saying that it wouldn't. A person playing it now would not have the same really enjoyable experience that we as kids would have had playing it for the first time. That's more what I meant to say. And I know that because the Burnout Paradise and Burnout Paradise Remastered, they hit very strongly for me, and I still very much enjoy both. But I know that there will be a lot of people that look at that and go, the open world is too open. There are no tracks. What is the point of this game? And there. What I'm saying is I really want them to go back to making Burnout games.
Yeah.
That should be the direction they go, yes.
Yeah, it really should. Even though we covered this on news, man, I love how we've completely derailed you again, Saif, but I know that we covered this on news and that a lot of the people that were the big high-ups in Criterion games from the Burnout days left as of Need for Speed Unbound. So who's to say what's going to happen now? Anyway, so what can we expect in the spoiler cast? I guess of the other people, are you the lone crusader? I'm trying to think the medieval connotation. Maybe crusader isn't the right word for Final Fantasy 16. Is yours the dissenting opinion that Final Fantasy 16 was good, or does everyone spoiler cast agree with you?
No, everyone on Spoilercast is kind of in the same boat as me, as really liking the game. A few nitpicks here and there, but very positive overall, and kind of looking forward to potential DLC. Not to give away that, like, the game in itself wraps up nicely. There's like they don't try to do any hang-up moments like Final Fantasy 15 did, where they're like, oh, the party member disappeared for a little bit. They're going to do a DLC journey sometime. They don't do anything like that. It's just that the world is that big and that's interesting, that people want more out of it and would like DLC on certain things that could use more exploration.
No, it's cool. I am excited once I finally get some time to start sinking my teeth in Final Fantasy 16. Anything else you want to hit in terms of what is there a spoiler-free best and worst moment that you can tease the audience with?
When's it coming to Xbox?
Best?
No. Steve, that's the best bit. It doesn't.
That's the worst bit. No. Microsoft should just buy Sony. Not even Square Enix, just Sony.
They can't. Actually, we'll get to that.
Personally, for me, it's the it's
Come to me, you freak.
Yeah, I was just waiting for Steve to jump in with that.
It's when Clive revisits Phoenix Gate, really early in the story. He doesn't say that then, but he does say that in the game.
Yeah, I know he does. I've seen the trailer like 40 times.
Yeah, so something for you to look forward to, I guess, Patrick, is when he does return to Phoenix Gate, because that's the entire prologue section of the game. Worst is...
Come to me, Ifrit.
Probably seeing how many side quests open up right before the final mission.
Okay, what do you mean open up? Because is this like you accept them and then doing the side quest just takes more before the final mission, or you get more side quests during before the final mission? Like, what do you mean open up?
They only appear right before the final mission, and you can choose to ignore them if you want to, but you miss out on like story and character growth if you don't do those. Some of them could have been placed a little earlier in the game, like some of those storylines could have been wrapped up earlier, and just saved like the really emotional core ones for right before the final boss fight.
Actually, is it a spoiler to say whether the final boss fight does a you've made it to the end game, this is the end game now thing, or is it a you rewind in time? Yeah, or is it a you rewind in time before final boss fight type?
It keeps it. I don't think it's too much of a spoiler. It keeps a save point of before you go into the final boss fight.
It's one of those.
Yeah, it's not like, well, essentially it's a time rewind, but like...
Yeah, like Ocarina of Time.
Yeah.
Like it takes you to the right for the boss room.
Yeah, basically.
I hate games like that. There, I said it.
That's
why would you hate
games.
that?
I'm kind of with Steve, because then you want to go and explore everything else, and the whole time the game's like, hey, you know what you haven't done yet? Final boss. And I'm like, I have. Yeah. I've done this multiple times. I've done it multiple times. Leave me alone.
I guess, yeah. Kingdom Hearts 2 kind of gets away with that by opening up side quests after you beat the final boss, and then it's like, you can still do the final boss, but there's never like a marker, and I think there's like even journal entries of like, yeah, you beat the final boss. So that, yeah, I can kind of see that. But I think it's just one of the... Yeah, and they even let you go to like the arcade mode into the final boss fight. So that's a little weird now that I think about it.
You know what, you're right. Kingdom Hearts is a shit game.
No, I'm talking about Final Fantasy 16. Like, there's a arcade mode.
You're right, Final Fantasy 16 is a shit game.
Yeah, that's interesting to think about now. Oh, well. I don't think it's that much of a big deal because the marker is just a big red action stage marker on the world's map screen, and nothing else really.
Pre-spoiler cast, Seth is like, one of my top 5 games post spoiler cast. He's going to think about this more, and he's going to convince the other spoiler cast hosts that, like, you know what, man, it really was overhyped. They really did miss the mark with Final Fantasy 16. No, that's cool. I look forward to not listening to the spoiler cast at all until I finish the game. But,
you know what? That's fair. Completely valid. I'm sure the spoilers are going to open minute 1.
You introduce the spoiler cast with a spoiler.
Oh god, I gotta pick a good spoiler to introduce.
Why don't you just run it back to what old mate told you in the group chat? Start it with the group chat screenshot. Boom. Make it a video podcast. Here we go. Now we're cooking.
That'd be great for audio
Speaking
medium.
of cooking, any final things from you for Final Fantasy 16, or do we start cooking up some Pizza Tower?
Yeah, no, let's just roll into Pizza Tower. So essentially, I just rolled into this because I needed something in between
lunch and dinner.
Finishing Final Fantasy 16 and starting up the New Game Plus.
Lena, indeed.
Lena. But yeah, it's just like I needed something as a little bit of a cooldown game, and I made a bad choice in cooldown games. Like this, this is going to be a short game, but this is an intense game as well.
So I've seen a lot of screenshots and funny memes about this game. What type of game is it?
It is a 2D platformer that's also kind of a speedrun game.
Oh.
It's a little bit WarioWare in some of its things, like you build up speed to smash through objects, you can grab enemies, do pile drivers to them, or just bite their heads off.
Wario Land.
WarioWare, that's the one.
Wario Land is the micro game. Sorry, WarioWare is the micro game.
Yeah, you're right. Wario Land is the one I meant. My bad. Essentially, the premise of this game is that you play as Hold on. I need to actually get to the store page because this guy's name is fantastic.
That feels racist.
It is Peppino Spaghetti you play as, and it does.
Right, so it's fine.
Okay.
He's Italian, so it's fine.
While jumping on the old store page myself, I see that Final Fantasy 14 is 50% off for the complete edition on Steam.
Yes, it is. It's super cheap to get into right at the moment, and if anyone has a passing interest, it's like worth just buying that to sit on the 30 days you'll get for just buying it.
Oh well, doesn't matter. Continue. Pizza Tower, Peppino Pizzeria.
Yeah, so his pizza shop is in debt, and also the pizza tower that's near his pizza chain is aiming a ray gun right at his store and is threatening to blow him up. So he's going into pizza tower to stop that from happening. Like to take out the laser gun and just take out the pizza tower. From what I understand, there's 5 worlds in the game. I've only done the first one for now, and yeah, it's kind of intense because what the basic gameplay loop is that you go through the course like one way, and then when you get to the end, you have to run back to the entrance within a time limit as the stage around you is threatening to blow up. Kind of like a Metroid escape sequence. And these time limits can get pretty harsh, and if you're going for like the higher S and P ranks, they get really intense because you've got to keep the combo up as much as possible. Like the combo being ramming into enemies or destroying objects and extending the timer by collecting ingredients throughout the level.
Be brutally honest with me, right? What part of this game is about pizza?
Yeah. All the aesthetic stuff, like you're a pizza chef, all the ingredients are collecting a pizza related, all the worlds are pizza related, you're fighting like cheese monsters, you're picking up pepperoni, there might be pineapple, and I think that's a sin.
Yuck. Actually, yeah, it's a very good discussion point.
If you're Italian and you pick up pineapple, you probably do go straight to hell, which might actually be where Pizza Tower takes place. I honestly can't tell.
There's a tower.
There's a marinara level where the lava is hot marinara sauce.
That's spaghetti, but not pizza. Like marinara sauce, isn't it? Like spaghetti marinara?
Marinara's just apparently.
You can have pizza marinara sauce.
It's a red tomato-based sauce.
Napolitana.
It's just like a red sauce.
Look at this, Mr. Exclusive Spaghetti over here.
Hang on, let him cook. Let him cook.
Man, first it was Italians, now it's purebred spaghetti Italians. When will it end? 2023.
But yeah, no, it's an insanely fun and fluid game. Like all your actions flow into each other really well. Most stages have a gimmick to them as well. Like I think in the first world, there's like 2 regular levels, and in 2 levels that throughout them they have gimmicks. One of them being you get put into a suit of armor, which gives you a double jump, or when you power slam into a slope, you just start sliding through the level uncontrollably, and all you can do is jump and continue to slide. What was the other gimmick? You eat a chili and you start getting flame breath that gives you an air dash, and you can blow up TNT with your flame breath. It's I don't have a lot to say about it right at the moment because, again, I'm just on the first world, but it's been an extremely fun game. It controls super well. The art style is super unique. Like, it looks like an MS Paint shit post. And it'd be worrying if it felt like one, but the fact that it feels so smooth and is actually such a good game, underneath it is really great to see. And the OST is banging. Like, the OST goes so hard.
So I'm already convinced to buy it just by looking at some of the reviews. But boy, some of the reviews are excellent. Peppery Pepper recommends it with 25.5 hours on record. Pizza Tower is the best game I have ever played. I just wish Italians were real.
Yeah, that's a fucking meme about what was that movie Pixar did recently about Italians?
Oh, wait, about Italians?
No.
Okay. Now I'm the racist one. What was the one?
It's like Luca is such a great movie. I wish Italians were real.
Funny little pizza guy does pizza guy things. Man, everyone has like 25 hours in this game.
I guess that's probably the amount of time it takes to like get pretty comfortable with trying to S-rank it. I see one guy reviewing it with 165 hours, and his review is just ASCII out of Pepino.
I've had another guy with 100 hours. I sat myself down and decided to spend 100 hours completing the entirety of Pizza Tower. I liked that. I liked doing it. I feel like I'm confessing some sort of crime, but after being conditioned by this game's frantic energy, the only crime I can think of is that I didn't do it faster. Damn.
Yeah, no, a lot of it is just you need to do it faster. The only P rank, which is the best rank of a stage you can get, I've gotten at the moment.
For pizza.
No, the P stands for Patrick, dumbass.
I thought it standed for piss. Fucking idiot.
The only P rank I've gotten is for doing the first boss without getting hit. And
is it like a Sonic thing when you get hit where you lose all your like pizza ingredients or something?
He has to go and make an entire pizza every time he gets hit.
I was actually going to get into this before I tried to wrap up Pizza Tower. You lose a little bit of your score, and your score multiplier goes down when you get hit. But if you get hit too many times, like I think it's if you get hit over 10 times, you start getting punished even harsher, and I think that can get you to the lost states because They just go, you'll get punished if you hurt Pepino too many times.
Wow.
I haven't tested the theory of what it is, but my warning was when I got hit 10 times, it's like, your Pepino's gotten hurt too many times, and I think if I got hit one more time after that, something dire would have happened.
Interesting. I don't really think I get it, but I think it's one of those things that makes sense when you're playing the game.
Yeah, it's just you only have so many chances to fuck up before we actually punish you for real.
Just like in Italy. Well, I just bought the game.
I've been to Italy. Rome's really nice. When in Rome, as they say. How much was it?
It's still on sale. I picked it up for $21.71.
I picked it up for $17.95.
I was about to get into that percentage. It is not the Steven approved percentage. It's only 25% off.
Dumb.
All right, Steve. All right, first of all, breathe. Second of all, sit down. Third, breathe in case you are still frantically trying to make it past step one. Fourth, tell me that you wouldn't eat 25% of a pizza right now.
I would.
There we go.
I would eat 100% of a pizza if the price was 25%. What? Steve, that doesn't make sense.
I would.
Pizza's not games.
No, just...
You know what? But
we can edit it together.
The discs that I put in my Xbox, those are round. They might be pizzas. Tower?
And then Steve said, I would. There we go.
That's not what I said at all.
It will be once I'm done with the recording.
Yeah. You know what? That's right. You're right. I'm going into AI. We're all going to say that Steven's the best.
I will see you in the comments section on Livestream Fails.
Oh no, there's a live leak in the corner of my screen.
Wait, hold on. Did someone just... Is that...
Don't know who that is.
You know what?
Really?
I'm censoring that.
Only because Steve doesn't know who it is? Fair. And now no one else will know what I said because you'll be censoring it.
We've already let Logan Paul fly free enough. We're not having him mentioned on the podcast too.
Very good. Right. Is there any chance of replayability in Pizza Tower once you have
super replayable because of the score attack, and there's probably more stuff that I don't know about once you actually do hit credits. Like, this seems like the type of game where they'd do something like, yeah, you finished the game, but now go get at least an S rank on every level to do the true ending or something.
Do every course backwards.
Oh, every course has. You're essentially doing every course backwards, but after the first,
you said that because like you have to go get out, but like it'd be like doing every course backwards and then forwards. No,
something else that has to be added as well is that after your first completion of the level, you can do a second lap of doing it backwards. Like you go finish the level and then you have to do the backwards run twice.
Can you imagine?
Do it upside down, blindfolded with a Guitar Hero controller.
Yeah, or even better,
It's essentially hitting those levels of ridiculousness, yes.
Imagine that you finally finish the game, and then the game's like, okay, now take a large pepperoni pizza, smear it all over your screen, and do it again.
Can I eat the pepperoni pizza?
Only if you S-rank the level again.
Hang on, boys. Don't worry, the Blues just scored. We're fine. Oh, good try.
Why do you care? We've already lost the season.
But we might win the game.
Winning the game means nothing.
Yeah, it does. It means a win on the board. Win. I'll give you a fucking pity win in a minute.
You know what? I think he's serious.
Patrick King hit him.
Aren't you closer to me?
What?
Yeah, but it's funnier if Patrick does it.
Oh, I don't think he's onside.
Oh no, I'm definitely onside.
No, I'm talking about the game. I don't care about you. Yeah, but anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Just wanted to let everybody know that we scored. Potentially have scored. They're reviewing it now. I'll update when it's done.
Okay. So are we going to wait until we get that update, or what are we?
No. You keep talking. I'll interrupt later.
So essentially I'm done with Pizza Tower. If you just want to move on to the next topic, Patrick.
Is the origin?
It is not.
No, it's actually me going honk Shoo while you talk about Pokemon Sleep.
Oh yeah, that's right. Pokemon Sleep. I can introduce this one.
Well, good, because I wasn't going to.
What, you're a coward. So Pokemon Sleep was announced by the Pokemon Company about 3 or 4 years ago. That they were sort of spinning in a way of, oh yeah, like you can be active during the day and play Pokemon Go, and then it's time to Pokemon Go to sleep.
But when can I Pokemon Go to the movies?
Anytime. Anytime's a good time to go to the movies.
God, I remember when they were going Pokemon Go to the polls as a thing for a little while.
It's no try.
The rest called it
no try. Bastards.
Steven, stay on topic.
Sorry. No, I'm upset. Yeah.
Here, boy.
Anyway. Okay, so Pokemon Sleep was announced about, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, when they had that whole walking around, catching Pokemon, now go to sleep. Honk Shoo, honk Shoo. They pretty much didn't really say anything about it until earlier this year, I think, on Pokemon Day, when it's like, hey, it's coming out later this year. And everyone's like, yeah, all right, cool. Is the Pokemon Sleep in the room with us now? And it actually turns out it sort of is. They've just opened beta testing for some select areas, and Australia is one of them. So I'm doing the beta test. I'm literally doing Nintendo a favor for free. I'm play testing their game.
He does it for free.
Not even 50% off.
Funny.
SMH.
So the concept, and you might be thinking to yourself, Pokemon Sleep, is it like, what is it? Are we just going to sleep here, fellas? And yes, literally it.
Yo, Steve, give us a demonstration.
You're wrong, actually. That's not it. You need to expand on the feeding Snorlax.
Well, so the general crux of the game is that you make sure your phone is plugged in, you have the app opened, and you click the go to sleep button, and then it'll start to be like, all right, cool, what time do you want to wake up? It's like, so eventually. And then like it sets an alarm, then it will go off. You have to like lay it face down on your bed because it tracks like if you toss and turn during your sleep. There's probably a weird data collection aspect to it because it makes a recording of noises you make.
It recorded me ugly snoring 10 times last night.
Are you sure that it was you snoring?
I listened to a couple of them. That's why I know they were ugly snores.
I didn't go back and listen to mine. Yeah, from a data collection point of view, that's fucking. And then like when you wake up, you get given like a sleep score. Very common with like if you've got like a fitness watch or something, it'll give you a sleep score based on like when you're in deep sleep or light sleep or et cetera, et cetera. And Pokemon Sleep does roughly the same thing. Like it tracks when you're awake, if you're tossing and turning. I don't really know how accurate it is because it's not like synced up with your heart rate or anything, but whatever. It seemed to be accurate. It said I got about 6 hours, 6.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah, mine said about the same thing. It gave me like a 71 score.
Really? I got an 81. Eat shit. You're done. Yeah. Bro, just sleep harder. It's not hard.
It said it took me 45 minutes to fall asleep, and I'm like, that seems accurate. I remember having a bit of a hard time falling asleep last night.
I fell asleep in like
Have
20.
you tried rising asleep?
Hold on. You may be onto something there.
Let him close his eyes. So and then once you, like your sleep score gets tallied up and it's converted for fucking however reason, and then it goes into this Snorlax, and the Snorlax is given power or something, and because your Snorlax attracts other Pokemon from like drowsy points or something, you can like obtain other Pokemon by feeding them like biscuits essentially, and they might hang out with you. And that's essentially it. It's essentially sleep score goes up and you can get better and like more Pokemon and probably more food to cook as well, because there's like a food cook thing which feeds Snorlax, and Snorlax has to eat 3 times a day, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that's essentially it. Like it's been 24 hours pretty much. Like I installed it yesterday morning, so it's probably been like 36 hours now. And I really haven't interacted with it that much. Like it seems cool. The principle seems cool. I'm always keen to have big companies take my sleep data and what I may or not be doing to sleep with.
They're going to advertise to you in your dreams.
Yeah, good. Finally. Good fucking dreams. And I can't wait because I'm going to a Bucks party on the week.
Continue to dream.
I can't wait for me to go on a Bucks party on the weekend and to be getting like scores of 3 out of 100 and seeing if it just skitzes out on me. But it's decent. I think I just need more time to let it cook. It does seem like it's heavy on the... I'm not sure if collection is the right word, but it does sort of want you to do a lot more things. Like when you are feeding Snorlax, there's like a loading screen and it'll give you like a sleep hint, like things that raise your body temperature, like having a hot shower or exercising an hour before bed is bad. And it impacts REM sleep or something or other like that. That's kind of cool, but it wants you to collect all those type of things. It does seem like there's like tracking and stuff. Like you can look at your sleep data and stuff. See how you're going over the week. I don't really know how I can tell you. It's a sleep tracker. If anybody's ever used a sleep tracker, that's what it is.
So yeah, as a sleep tracker and an alarm, I think it's pretty neat. Like for some reason, I think this is the best alarm I've ever used because it's got like a glass tinking noise as the alarm, and that woke me up better than like any music track alarm I've used before. Everything else around it about like the raising the Snorlax, the feeding it, getting the biscuits, and everything like that, I just don't care about those at all. It's just it's just the set this as an alarm, go to sleep, track if I'm doing a good sleep, and that's all I care about for this.
It seems fucking tedious as well.
Yeah, the plus side is that it gave me a Pikachu as my sleep partner, and I named it Danny DeVito. So now I'm just getting constant messages going, Danny DeVito wants to go to sleep. Get ready to go to sleep at midnight. I'm like, it's 11 in the morning. Danny DeVito, wait. We got 12 hours before we need to go to bed.
Danny DeVito waits for no one. My question is, if it's a sleep tracker off of your phone, does the phone need to be on the whole time? Like,
yeah, it does.
Yes.
Does that break your battery when you wake up?
Well, it recommends it darkens the screen and it pretty much says, don't put this under a pillow because your phone will overheat.
Yeah, I went to sleep at around 80% ish, and I don't have a power point near my bed, so I just let it rock. And I woke up with about 30%. So it uses about half the battery over the 6 hours I was asleep.
Yeah, I just plugged mine in. I got spooked. Like, I do have a power point right next to my bed.
See, my phone, which this is one of those, like, remember that COVID was like 3 years ago type thing, because I've had my phone for 4.5 years, and I never think that I have, like, having a device for 4.5 years is about, I think that might be now tying for the longest that I've had a phone. And my phone is now 4.5 years old, which is crazy to me because I bought it, like, I guess new 4.5 years ago. But I can no longer, it's gotten to the stage where you need to kind of like hold the USB plug in a particular way for it to charge. So I just I use the wireless charging, and that's fine. But to leave it plugged in with the cable will not work.
Well, how does the battery even last? Does it last for like more than 2 seconds?
Somehow yes, but it's also it's an S10 Plus, so it came with a larger battery to begin with.
Okay, that's probably helped it a bit. Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess you won't be charging it then. You'll have to do something.
Maybe I just stay awake the whole night.
No. Actually, hang on. No, you have to go to sleep.
It's called Pokemon Go to Sleep. You can't just Pokemon. You also need to sleep.
Instructions unclear. I'm still awake. What did you say? What Pokemon you got, Steve?
So there's a couple of things. So number one, there is this app is free to download. But there is a weird Sleep Pass thing, which is like a subscription service.
Battle Pass, let's go.
No, didn't you hear him? It's a Sleep Pass that you need to pay to go to sleep now.
No, but I don't really know how it works, because like you get like bonus points and stuff, and it hasn't announced. Oh, I'm not sure if it's announced it if I can't find it. But I just press the select plan, which means if there's a plan, it means it's probably a subscription service as well. But it fucking irritates me. Like, you're already keeping all my sleep data. You don't need anything more. Do not take my money. But also as well, when this was like officially like re-announced earlier in the year, they announced it's called a Pokemon Go Plus Plus. So remember when Pokemon Go came out and they had that Pokemon Go Plus, and it was a thing, and you press the button and it essentially plays Pokemon Go for you? So there is this Pokemon Go Plus Plus is supposed to become the sleep tracker instead of your phone. So it just interacts with Pokemon Go and Pokemon Sleep. So your whole issue of needing wireless charging pad is like null and void. You use this Pokemon Go Plus Plus, which is dead shit naming convention. They got the same people to do the Xbox One Series.
It's also stupid expensive.
Yeah, so I'm looking. It's out of stock everywhere, of course. But I'm looking on the Nintendo.com, like, so it is an American currency, an American website. 55 smackaroos. 55 smackaroos for literally, it looks like a Pokeball, and you just put it next to your bed to like keep you sleeping. It probably does do something.
$80 on JB Hi-Fi as a pre-order right now. Says it's coming.
Fucking dollars.
Says it's coming out in 2 days.
Oh, soon. Oh, hang on. Let them sleep.
75% off. 75% off, Steven. 75% off.
Yeah, 100%. Or I'll just brick someone coming out of JB Hi-Fi with it. They best sleep of their life. But it's just very weird. Maybe it's not weird. Maybe I'm just angry at the monetization. And I think it's important to note that literally I've only had the game for 1 day, so I haven't encountered any barriers that's stopping me from playing because of the monetization. But it's just, from the get-go, there is a physical device that interacts with it, and there's a subscription for it. So let's say the subscription is $10 a month. So let's say $10 plus the $75, that is $85 a month I don't essentially know what it's giving you, like a couple of bonus things, bonus sleeping. I don't know. It's fucking weird and frustrating, and I don't like it. But they've got to make their money somehow. I appreciate that.
So going back to
Queensland scored. I was too busy talking. Fuck, I missed it.
Going back to my original question. What Pokemon did you get, Steven?
Everyone starts off with a Pikachu, and then you have a sleep, and I think you get Did you get a Charmander as well, Seth?
I got a Bulbasaur.
Okay. So you probably get one of the Kanto starters.
Yeah, I think it's also dependent on your sleep type for that night. I think I got Doze or Snooze. It wasn't Deep Slumber.
I think I got Slumbering. Yeah. Well, so every Pokemon has like, I think a couple of different types of sleep styles, and your style will attract Pokemon that are more consistent with your style. And I'm not really sure how that works. But it's. I think there's a lot of character in the actual animations and stuff. Like all the Pokemon are like sort of either asleep or they're like drifting asleep, and they're like doing that thing where it's like whoa, and they wake up and they go back to sleep, like dad falling on the couch.
So I'm thinking more. What was it just like a quiz that they released then?
Yeah, so there was a quiz last week, and I was just like, oh hey, like to get excited for Pokemon Sleep. How do you sleep?
That
was just like a personality test quiz sort of thing.
So what flavor soup were you based on that quiz?
Harry Potter, Gryffindor. I can't remember. I think I
actually got the Charizard on that one.
I honestly can't remember.
I got Swablu.
Oh yeah, you did too. Yeah. I can't remember which one I got. All right, Blues have scored. We're in, boys. We're in. But yeah, it's nice to see all the character, and apparently there is like even like shiny Pokemon, so I don't know what the fucking rates are for that, and if it even actually matters.
Just start Masuda breeding sleeping Pokemon.
Oh, you can't. How? Like there's no breeding. It's been a day. I think they just need to data mine and all that kind of stuff.
To find data mine.
Yeah.
Oh, right. You meant the community. Yeah. No, that's what I meant too,
that's
actually.
What I meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not us. But yeah, like it's all right for what it is, but it does what it says on the tin. Like you sleep to get Pokemon, and that's it. Like I don't know what I was expecting, and because when I was hyping it up, and I was hyping it up to my girlfriend, and she's like, what's the point? And I'm like, you go to sleep and you get Pokemon, and she's like, you do that when you're awake. And I'm like, oh yeah, I do.
But now I can do it when I'm not awake.
True.
Yeah, Pokemon's collecting 24/7.
Yeah, and I got up this morning and like I did all the things. I finished because you need to do the first sleep to get the tutorial finished because you got to get points. And then like it finished, and I'm like, is that it? And I'm like, well, fuck, what did I expect it would be? Like, of course I have to wait for it to be sleeping. And when I first downloaded it yesterday morning at 9 o'clock, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, I can't wait to play. And I'm like, oh, I can't do anything until I go fall asleep. And like, it's just I don't know, maybe this is a personal thing for me, but it's just very weird. And it's like, you need to sleep to play the game. So it's just I was just very excited, and because I was excited, I couldn't go to sleep.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. So you're too excited to sleep, so you can't go to sleep, so you can't play the game, so then you're sad.
Yeah, it's definitely
and it all circles back to crying yourself to sleep, which is what I do every day anyway.
Yeah. Well, we'll pick up those recordings. The Pokemon company's probably recording
every recording is the sound of me weeping. The game's like, I don't know, it seemed like you were asleep the whole time, and I'm like, I thought I was.
Actually,
it's just 8 hours of crying. When did you get any sleep?
No. It's 8 hours of crying, and then in the background you hear someone else snoring, but it's not me.
Actually, another big thing, a problem I have with this game, and this will probably be my last gripe with it, considering I haven't played it for that long, but at the same time,
what do you mean? You played it for 8 hours?
Yeah, I know. It was 6 hours. 6.5.
6.5. Phew.
So to engage the sleep, it has to like be on your bed. It can't be on a hard surface, and it can only it won't record a sleep that's under 90 minutes. So as someone who is a very big fan of cheeky 20-minute naps on the couch after work, it's not going to record that. So what's the fucking point? I can't have my old man.
But also, you gotta activate it that you're going to do that. So it's not like you.
Oh yeah, true.
Your 20-minute nap's probably not planned. You sit down and then you just fall asleep for 20 minutes. It's not. It's not like you're going. It's not like you're going to go into the game and go, oh yeah,
and then that's it. I'm asleep.
Yeah. Instead of, you're not just going to sit there, press the button, go, yeah, I'm going to go to sleep now. When it's just I sat down and now it's 20 minutes later.
Yeah, actually, and that's probably another thing. And maybe that's the whole Pokemon Go plus. God, maybe that's where it gets you. But as someone who's a big fan of like wearable tech, like I've got a Fitbit and that tracks my sleep, and me and a bunch of friends were psychopaths in 2019 and would share sleep scores. I'm going to compete for the best sleep. But
we call that a sleep off.
We're all sleeping with each other. It's in different beds.
Hey, your words.
Yeah, yeah. But I get the feeling I just revved on it for like the last 20 minutes, even though I've literally probably spent that less time like playing with it. But I'd encourage people actually to try it out. It literally does what it says on the tin. And then if you like it, keep playing it. If you don't, you are right, Saif. The problem is you have to manually tell it you're going to sleep. But it works as an alarm as well, and the alarm is fucking loud.
Yeah, as an alarm, I think it's pretty good. It's everything else around it that I just absolutely do not care about. I fed the Snorlax when I woke up because it tutorialized me on that. I did not feed it lunch or din-dins.
I can't believe you killed your Neopet.
Same thing. But yeah, it's free. I think it fully releases end of this week and the next week, so maybe that might change a couple of the features, might take away my progress. Who knows?
Any final words from you on Pokemon Sleep, Seth?
It's neat. I like the alarm. That's about
exactly
it.
What you think it is.
Yeah, it's.
Are you going to start playing it, Pat? Did we convince you?
Honestly, the power draw is the biggest negative.
Yeah, the fact that, so for me, not being able to charge my phone because I don't have a PowerPoint is a personal issue, and
skill issue.
It's not even a skill issue. It's a architectural issue.
Architectural skill issue. Got it.
Bedroom layout issue.
Just rewire your house.
So yeah,
just connect your phone up to mains.
It's just like
with a fork.
I don't know if I want to spend 50% of my battery letting it idle on this program while it tracks my sleep. So
you work from home. You don't need it. Hey, it doesn't matter. Charge it when you wake up.
You know what would be funny? I would so my phone, part of me probably should just turn it off, but I kind of like seeing what it says. It gives me the like weekly usage report. It's like the screen time thing. Have you used your phone this much this week? And the idea that as soon as I start playing Pokemon Sleep, my phone will be like, hey, you've been on your phone like 40 hours this week.
And then plus those are Pokemon Sleep hours as well.
Yeah, true, actually.
Since it darkens the screen, I wonder if it will actually count that screen time usage.
Yes, we got another try. Woo! That was fucking excellent. That was fucking excellent run by Adokar. Man,
I'm so either happy for you or sorry that happened.
No, happy, yeah. Up the doggies. He plays
anyway,
Bulldogs.
If that has convinced you to give Pokemon Sleep a go, feel free. I would.
It is free.
Love to see the stats on the number of people bringing their electrician to put a PowerPoint in near their bed as a result of this game.
No, I've cracked it. This is actually a false flag operation from Big Wire, from Big Charger, if you would. Long Charger, actually. And they want to sell 20-meter chargers.
That's why I always use the wireless charging functionality on my phone by putting the microwave next to my bed and just keeping it in that, running on like low power for a few hours, charges it right up.
You also like a cheeky midnight hot dog?
No, it's charging my phone. What the fuck would I do cooking food with it?
You know, to eat in bed.
No, I'm just thinking of the Patrick Star. Who eats a Krabby Patty at 3 a.m.? Cuts to Patrick. Oh boy, 3 a.m. Classic heavy specimen chat. Anyway, cool. No, that's Pokemon Sleep. Hopefully people are staying Pokemon awake because that finishes Round the Lounge for this week. Thank you both as always. Get to move on to part 2 for this week, which is of course the news. Street Fighter 6 has sold 2 million. 1.5 million to Saif. How did you do it?
There's lots of I just tied up my shoelaces and hit the ground running. A little bit of spin in the hands.
Feet, Talking about feet. He's talking about feet. What's that girl's name? Jury.
Yeah. The character I really like.
You know the feet lady.
The one that they just constantly started shoving her feet in everyone's faces because they knew that's what the Jury fans wanted. even though I'm the jury fan that just likes Psycho Woman.
That's so brave. That's so brave of you, Saif. Thank you for saying that. Steve has been especially thinking it, but thank you for saying it.
I love the one tweet that's just like shaking my head anytime I win a match with jury. I like Psycho Woman, but jury is for feet people, but she's also extra psycho. So what's a guy supposed to do?
Cool. Good news for Capcom. Just more back-to-back bangers.
It also like really outdoes the pace of Street Fighter V, which sold.
That's not a high bar, right?
No, because Street Fighter V they wanted it to sell 2 million in its first month as well, and that sold 1.4 million in its first 3 months. So this is outpacing it by a lot by doing 2 million in the first month actually. Yeah, first month now.
That's pretty good. They're doing. Let them fight.
They're doing numbers. They deserve it.
I'm looking at the article. It doesn't break it up on which console served, whether it's physical or digital, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think most places have stopped doing that. Capcom just does a cumulative score, and Capcom's one of those few companies where they actually have a website dedicated to showing their game sales numbers and what ranks high. I think at this point, Rise and Sunbreak will probably be their best-selling game, but for a little while, Monster Hunter World was their best-selling game, and before that, it was Resident Evil 6.
Always has been.
Oh, 6, really?
Yeah, 6 sold a lot, but it also broke Capcom because it was that expensive to make.
That's why there was that. Yeah, it just seems like they didn't really do that much.
Yeah.
Early Street Fighter 4 for the 3DS, that was crazy. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. It was kind of funny. It was that was kind of the introduction to the modern controls, because on the touchpad you could just press a button for your you could just press a touchpad for your special moves and your ultra moves.
Oh, wow. Okay, that sounds pretty cool. We should go back to that.
We kind of have now.
Yeah, I know, but touching touchpads.
We kind of have now.
It's called the Switch.
Okay. It's a touch phone.
The Switch. Anyway, speaking of Streets fighting, 6 times even, Rashid is now going to be finally available, even though the Rashid Fighter Pass has been out for, a couple weeks now?
A week now. We talked about it last week, and I was like, it's really weird that they've done the Rashid Battle Pass, and we don't know anything about Rashid. They haven't announced when he's going to be coming out, and people are expecting him to come after Evo. No, they're going to actually just release him when that Battle Pass ends. And so that just put that outdated last week's podcast the day after that we recorded that. So before it even came out.
Well, there's always a news story that does that stuff. It perks of the job comes with the territory.
Hang on, let me have a rant about DLC. The game's only been out for a month. What are we doing here? And they're already announcing DLC characters. Remember when the game used to be out for a while? Everyone would get used to it, and 6 months later, maybe you get a character. Jesus.
Yeah, so that's kind of where fighting games have kind of devolved into now, where my personal preference is doing the big upgrades where they introduce a bunch of characters at once later down the line. And the season passes still equates to that same amount of money. It's just they would have released 4 to 6 characters a year after launch. But now they just decided on spreading out the characters across a year. So they're doing 1 character for every season. So Rashid is the summer character. I think the character's name is Aki, is going to be the fall character, and so on and so forth until we hit next year when they do another season pass. Essentially 1 character every 3 months.
Is it weird that I kind of respect them for doing season as an actual season?
Yeah, no, it's really weird to do.
Right.
It's really weird that
cool.
It's really weird that we're in this moment where a company is doing a season as a season.
I mean, I kind of respect it, but other ones, they're just all right, this is arbitrarily this long, and you're like, why? I think.
Yeah, with the Rashid DLC, they'll add him into World Tour, so you can meet him, you can text him, you can do all those fun interactions with him. You get to learn his moves and put them on your custom character, and then you also just have him to play online and things like that. And the trailer that they showed, he looks really good. He looks like a big improvement from how he was in Street Fighter V. His design is a big improvement from how it was in Street Fighter V. The only issue I have is that his theme song is not as good as his old theme song, but that was a very high bar to hit.
That seems like a very minor complaint.
It is. It is a minor complaint to have.
Is Rashid someone that is going to be on your radar as the resident fighter of streets?
Yes, actually, Rashid's a character I really like. So I'm glad he's back in the game. And I'm not a person that has I'm not big on national pride or anything, but it does tickle as a spot in my brain when I see a Arabian character come out in a game and they're super cool and stylish and hit all the right notes of being a really great character. So Rashid does a lot for me in that regard.
Just like me, for real. Not me, but like
you when you see the 60th white guy.
Yes.
Steve when he sees the cop in Mortal Kombat.
Me when I see
Hold on, let him abuse his wife.
No, I'm not going to engage that one. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, though, Mortal Kombat 1 is adding smoke, rain, and other effects. Oh, wait, no, they're characters. My bad. That was half a joke. I knew about smoke. I don't know if I knew about rain.
Yeah, I just want to get out there. I really appreciate that joke. That VFX joke.
I was gonna make it.
I got a little giggle out of it.
Thank you. I'll be here all
recording.
yeah, exactly. No, I remember playing Smoke because Smoke would do this absolute fucking shithouse move back in Mortal Kombat. I have to keep asking Saif which version it was. Thank you.
The PS3 one. He hasn't been playable since.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that works even better. But he used to have this really shit ass special where he would like sprint around the entirety of the earth and then punch whoever you were fighting in the back and then speed back again. And
yeah,
so,
I remember that. And then if you did the EX version, he'd also come from the air.
Yeah, exactly. And so it became the fucking chump check of couch Mortal Kombat. But yeah, is Rain new? Or
Rain has been DLC in a couple of games. I think he might have been. No, I think he was actually DLC for 11 as well. I think he's been DLC in 9, 10, and 11. He's just like a super popular character that people are always asking for. And he's pretty neat. I'm not big on him myself, but he's a fan favorite, so it's good to see them giving fan favorites on the roster and not just locking them to the season pass.
Because there's a picture of two of them on, this is a Gamatsu article, but I'm assuming it's Smoke and Cyrax, right? Because it looks like Cyrax is the other one on the picture.
Yeah, so those are the assist characters. What they've done is that they've done all the other Lin Kuei robot ninjas as the assist characters in the trailer. So instead of making Sector and Cyrax playable, they're going to be your cameo fighters.
Gotcha.
They also showed that classic Scorpion and Frost are going to be cameo fighters in this trailer.
Because I used to enjoy playing Cyrax every so often as well. He also had a few chump check ability. Man.
Like the net?
Yeah, the net and the grenade. Now that I think of no, not the grenade, the whirling axe blade out of the chest.
Yeah.
Or was that Sector?
No, that's Cyrax. Sector is all about flamethrowers and missiles.
That makes cool. Yeah. Man, I played Mortal Kombat 9 like a bitch.
To be fair, that's all NetherRealm Studio games. Like the best characters in the recent Injustice and Mortal Kombat games are the ones that can keep people away the best.
All I'm saying is, you wanna see Patrick at peak power level? Give me Noob Saibot. Give me Noob Saibot and the weird running man that he does sprinting across the screen. Yeah, you ain't getting close.
Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, anything to add from either of you two on this, or we want to move on?
I think just...
I'm still...
You go, Stephen.
You know what? No. Actually, yeah, I will. I think Mortal Kombat 11's on Game Pass, so I really do like the Mortal Kombat franchise. I think I played Mortal Kombat 10 like 40 years ago. But yeah, I don't know.
Funny, that's Mortal Kombat 1 with an extra 0 in front behind it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, even if I know I will get it sometime later.
Yeah, I got two things. The first one is I'm not that big of a fan of Smoke's new design. I think they've kind of gone really hard on like a K-pop aesthetic for him. It doesn't look that good to me. But aside from that, I also just want to point out that in this trailer, like, just what's considered an X-ray move or a fatal blow for this game, they've been getting more and more vicious and deadly since they were introduced in Mortal Kombat 9. Like in Mortal Kombat 9, like you mentioned Noob Saibot, his thing is he gets his clone to grab you and kicks you so hard that you throw up all over his leg. In this, the X-ray move is having Smoke shove a dagger so far into your eye that it shatters your skull. There's a level of there's a new level of brutality we're hitting here that's not matching the old game.
The only one I would disagree with you on is that I think it was Kano's X-ray was a favorite of mine because of how brutal it was, where he would kneecap you with his hunting knife.
Yeah, even then, that's not like a kill. I don't think that's like a kill thing, but that would definitely take your leg out of action. Like, you would not be able to stand back up after that. All of these, though, are like actual kill shots that would... no one's getting back up after them.
The best one was always playing the Infinite X-Ray arcade mode in Mortal Kombat 9, where you were therefore play as Johnny Cage. And it would just, because it was an X-ray counter, I'm pretty sure. You'd probably know more than me, Saif, but just the constant counter into Nut Punch.
And the fatality, and you see like their nuts explode. Oh, I think that might have been in 10. Oh,
that was in 10. I think that was
couldn't fucking stand it. Holy shit.
That was Cassie's thing.
Oh yeah, his daughter, isn't it? Yeah.
I think that might have actually been her X-ray and not her fatality.
It was literally so
it only works once, right?
Well, it even works on the female characters. I couldn't watch that. Anyway, enough about Mortal Kombat.
Just pop those testes.
Anyway.
Don't say that.
I was just about to say, no, you know what? No, that's going to stay in my head. Exoprimal is coming out in 2 days.
Exoprimal will get shut down in 9 days.
Bold.
I don't think it will.
No,
Babylon's Fall made it longer than that.
You know what?
No, don't forget. This is also coming on Game Pass. This will give it some life, and it will probably introduce a bunch of new players in it, and then that will probably generate a lot more hype.
Something to Exoprimal's credit, they already have more seasons announced, ready to go than Babylon's Fall ever released.
Yeah, so let's talk through the story. I have no interest.
That was
in
a story.
Primal.
They've got more seasons of content planned than Babylon's Fall ever got.
Well, they've got 3. Yeah, that's so fucking sad.
They're currently matching Dragon Ball The Breakers.
Yeah.
Oh yes, the absolute weapon that is. Actually, have we done a
We have not done a discussion point of me playing that game for 2 hours.
I wasn't going to bring that up. I was going to say, has anyone done a suicide check on Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl recently?
I'll do it now.
Oh, it's probably not in a good place. Well, Multiverses died. Multiverses died, so...
Well, yeah, because they closed it.
Yeah, because they were scared of Nick All-Stars. That's what happened.
You know what? That's actually the better line.
All right, I've got it. Who wants to take the guesses
now
of the most recent and a 24-hour peak?
Okay. First of all, you have to answer. Is it surprising?
He doesn't have to answer that.
Yes, he does.
No,
Okay.
it's not going to shock you.
Okay, in that case, I'm guessing 20 in the last 24 hours.
I'm guessing 50 in the last 24 hours.
Okay, does anyone want to take a guess at in the last 32 minutes as well?
Because I guess 20, I'm going to guess 10.
I'll go with 15.
So last 24 hours, Patrick was really close. It was 21. And last 32 minutes is 6.
All right, dead.
Which,
that's just Steam, but
remembering the last time we did a check-in, that's roughly around the same numbers.
It is.
Yeah.
Say what you... Yeah, it's got staying power, that's all I say. Say what you want about how amazing I am at hosting, but I also seem to be amazing at guessing how few people are playing Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl.
Secret talent.
Just gotta add that to my CV real quick. Watch me pull that out at a party. Surrounded by people, there'll be someone that can like randomly whip out a guitar and serenade a bunch of people, and I'll be like, all right, someone want to jump on Steam charts? I'm gonna blow your mind.
Pick a game, any game.
Yeah, as long as it's either New Tales from the Borderlands or Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Anything else doesn't count. Anyway, Extra Primal coming out in 2 days. Seth and I were discussing this discussing this before, in that everyone is excited, but no one is going to buy it in terms of people that we know, and that doesn't bode well.
Yeah, everyone's already gone like, I'm really interested in this. It's got a cool premise. I don't know if anyone else is going to buy it, so I will not buy it either.
I don't say it's a cool presence. I think it's a fucking weird presence.
It's got dinosaurs. Shut up, Steve. Your opinion's invalid. Take the L.
From playing the beta, I really enjoyed what was there. Like, my main complaint was that you didn't have enough friends. Yeah, didn't have enough friends. Couldn't get together with Steven because they didn't have crossplay invites yet. But also the lack of modes and maps. But that was because the first day I was playing the same map over and over and over. And the second day was where it was like, oh, hey, there's actually a couple more maps in this beta than I thought there was. And doing those other game modes were really interesting. Like, one of them is you're in a city. One of them was being in a city level, and the objective was to get a hammer, like charge up a hammer and destroy each checkpoint along the way until it just became a all-out brawl in the middle of the map to see who would destroy that last checkpoint. So that was a really fun mode, and that didn't. So if they do more things like that, where they have interesting gameplay variants and interesting maps, it can be a lot of fun. But it's also just a thing of, this is a highly focused multiplayer only game.
Yeah.
I usually like playing these with friends. I don't know if enough people will be hopping on it. It's a pricey game. And every time they end one of these trailers, they end it with showing all the pre-order or launch DLC or the battle pass, and it's a little intense and doesn't feel like it feels like it's something that should have been free to play with those season pass, battle pass expansions, but making it like a near full price game unless you're getting it on Game Pass, and also having all of those feels really grimy.
My concern is that when it was announced, now admittedly I didn't get to the beta. I don't remember if it was because I didn't sign up, or I think I was just I
were
was
away when it was the open beta.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
You were over in Canada.
Yeah,
that's right. You were too. Yeah, it was a shame they didn't have that crossplay. I would have enjoyed playing this stuff, and I think that was probably the
nail in the coffin for that beta.
Yeah, and it was mostly a PvE type of experience with just the portals opening and just fucking raptors coming out. And maybe there are other game modes that I'm just not aware of.
Yeah, they've talked about doing like, instead of a PvE thing, there's like a 10... Well, yeah, it's still PvE, but instead of doing like that weird PvE VP mode, they're also just going to do 10-player co-op missions as well.
Actually, can I interrupt on that for a sec?
Go for it.
Yeah, cool. So as I was saying, before I got fucking derailed by Steven, so I was away for the beta, but the thing that concerned me from looking at what they've been doing with their marketing material is that I really like games such as your Warframes, your Monster Hunters, your Borderlandses, but all of those are kind of you can grind up in single player, and then you're sort of ready to roll when other people join you, and then that's how multiplayer starts. I suspected that in the beta, the focus would be more on the PvP stuff, because that's more of the stress test for the network and everything. Fine. But all of the marketing material still seems to be focused on, even if it's PvE, it's like PvPvE, the kind of hunt showdown sort of thing, which, I don't know, it makes me nervous in that, kind of like what you were saying, Seth, that if there aren't other friends playing it, I would kind of be forced into playing it with strangers, that there isn't really I just want to grind and chill myself, which I was sort of hoping would be in this, and it seems like they're going quite heavily into the multiplayer, so that's honestly a turn-off for me.
Yeah, there's no, like, just turn off your brain and get to enjoy it on your own merits. Like, even other things that would kind of approach it is like, yeah, no, there's 9 other people you're playing co-op with. No, like, just, can I go on my own and just do wave after wave on my own? It's just pure multiplayer.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting. I imagine I want it to do well, because I like what the game is trying to do, and Capcom's just had banger after banger. What I am thinking might be more likely to happen, Steve and I have both joked that this is looking like Anthem 2 in terms of the hype to translation, in that it'll be a game that probably won't do so hot on release, because everyone won't be sure if other people are playing it. And then as soon as it goes on sale, there'll be a big influx of people playing it.
Yeah, I think it'll live in that there'll probably be a few hundred people that keep it going for a while.
Yeah, it'll have its community. And it is coming to Game Pass, so maybe it'll get a bigger community, as I said before, but
I'd be very interested to see the player number drop off from all the people that launch it for 5 minutes when it releases, and then what it is like a month later.
Yeah.
Yeah, like look at the achievement stats for tutorial, look at the achievements for playing 3 games or something.
Exactly.
And
Persona 5 has a really steep drop off. Like, not many Xbox players even get far enough to get Arsene. I think that's at like 40 to 50%.
Well, that's like hour 10 or something, isn't it?
Getting Arsene, that's at like hour 4.
Still fucking, and that's nothing happens before that.
Yeah, a lot of people get tired of the first 10 minutes being all VN and turn it off.
Yeah, and by 4 hours you got to finish the game by then. And I think with Game Pass, it's sort of like a lot of people will like play the game, launch it, play it for like 5 minutes, put it down, and just never go back to it. Like, it's a lot of like whether for better or worse. Who knows? They don't really say how those stats are reported.
Like, you're talking about it as like it's very much a momentum title, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's, you can see that with every single Game Pass title as well. Like, even with the Vampire Survivors ones, like the first 3 or 4 levels, it's like 80-90%, but then it like drops off at like the next one like 30 or 40%.
But you see, I don't think that's a great comparison, because if Vampire Survivors drops off, you could still have a moment where you come back to it and you're like, actually, I do want to play Vampire Survivors again. Whereas here, it's actually, I don't want to play Survival again, like, but would you be able to find a game? Would you want to boot it up and then possibly sit in queue for a bit?
Yeah, that's true. It is different when it's a multiplayer one. But yeah, I'm interested in, like, they've obviously planned seasons 1, 2, and 3. Season 3 being a Monsanto collab, which would be fucking sick.
Yeah, so that's what I was actually going to get into in saying that I want to see how the player numbers develop. If it's not going to be dead on arrival, I may pick this up around season 2 when the Street Fighter 6 collab happens, and I think that'll probably be around September-ish.
And if Seth picks it up for the Street Fighter 6 collab, I'll pick it up around season 3 for the Monster Hunter collab.
Yeah. So we just skip season 1 because season 1 can just be let's see how the game develops first.
Yeah.
And if it seems fine, then I'll jump on.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, no, I think the game's like 9. So the deluxe edition I think is like $110 Australian.
Yeah,
which is just a bit steep at the moment for a game like this. I feel if it was like $80, $70. The peak Dragon Ball The Breakers price comparison, I would have been more on board for it.
Yes, the Domino's $5 pizzas to Dragon Ball Z The Breakers price points. Anyway.
But yeah, this seems like something to get on a sale instead of getting it full price.
100%.
Especially with all that Battle Pass stuff happening.
And my fear is that everyone else listening will do the same thing. But anyway, we get to...
My fear is even people not listening will do the same thing.
Well, who doesn't listen to this? Come on, get with the times. Anyway, we now swap the dinosaurs for the dogs with some... I was about to say equally sad news, but I don't know if that's the tone I want to go for. But we do have some sad news that Naughty Dog co-president Evan Wells is stepping down from the studio at the end of 2023, who has been around since 1998 when he was...
Yeah, this guy was like the big face of the company that I knew of, because when I started getting more aware of Naughty Dog as a company and just game news in general, Evan Wells was the guy taking the E3 stage to showcase the Uncharted gameplay.
Oh, he's the guy, eh?
That's him, officer.
He is the guy. He's the guy that pushed AAA to where it's becoming. He's been less in the limelight since, like, ever since The Last of Us took off, and Neil Druckmann's been
Neil Druckmann is now
the
media, I was going to say media darling. That's not really the right turn of phrase.
The media face.
Yeah, that's a much better one. But yeah, and what's cool is, so again, thanks to Gamatsu for the article, but there's a message from Evan Wells and there's a message from Neil Druckmann, and parts of it are quite interesting. Like it's something that kind of strikes me because it's sort of similar to some stuff happening at the company I work for, where in Evan's message he says, I was hire number 14 back in 1998, and then seeing where Naughty Dog is now, and it's like, imagine you've put your like heart and soul into something for 25 years, and then finding the right time to step away. It's really, I don't know.
It's also like in the current state of the industry where so many people are contractors, it's amazing to see someone that's been there since not like the groundwork days, but like when they were starting to pick up steam and building more of a momentum and just being there to help lift the company to where it is now.
Because the thing is, right? Think back. I would say think back to when we were in 1998. I would have been 2 years old, so kind of hard for me.
I was there playing Crash Bandicoot 3.
But the thing is, imagine you tomorrow decide to quit wherever you're working and go join a 13, 14 something person team working on some project, and it was Crash 3, right, in 1998. Yeah, so it's not like the first in the series trying to do something completely different. It's a little bit of a known quantity, but joining a team of like 14 people, you would know everyone super well, very, very small team, very close knit, all that stuff. And then just thinking that decision would then go into the Uncharted series, Jak and Daxter, Last of Us, all of these other things that sort of sprouted out of that, and seeing where the company winds up today. How you could even fathom that as the person joining as hire number 14 is...
Yeah, and he even says like so many of the game releases correlate to his big life events. Like he met his wife while developing Crash Team Racing. They went on their honeymoon after Jak 2. He had his first child when they announced Uncharted 1 at E3.
Yeah.
It's
like... Is his first child Uncharted 1? Is that the name of the child? Uncharted 1. Uncharted 1, finish your vegetables. That's crazy. I don't think I'd join a small company like that. It's crazy to think like that.
It's on that, it's weird to think that back in the late 90s, IT companies like that were small groups of just passionate people.
Yeah,
people that loved it, yeah.
And then you got currently, Ubisoft is like, we're going to try and get like 8,000 people at once developing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but how many people does that include, like with HR and middle management, and the more you expand, like the bureaucracy is expanding because of the expanding bureaucracy type of stuff. I
don't know. It's just different scales.
All the best for his future.
It's really interesting to sort of think about. What would you do? Well, I don't know what I would do, but either way, probably a bittersweet moment and probably something that he had to reflect on for a long time before coming to the conclusion on.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if he's going to go anywhere else after this, because I imagine he could be pretty much set and can just retire if he wanted to.
He probably could, but I also don't think there'd be too much harm in doing like quite a okay, I don't know about quite a few, but it would make sense to me if someone like him steps down from his daily duties as the kind of studio head and starts kind of doing a combination of like consulting work, contracting work, just sort of doing other sort of random bits and pieces, feeling out whatever else is out there, not necessarily leaving with another thing in mind, but still being open to kind of fall into something if the timing works out.
Yeah, this is pigeonholing a little hard, but it'd be interesting if he followed Bruce Straley to his new company, Bruce Straley being one of the game directors on Uncharted 2 and The Last of Us, and doing a lot of writing work on those games as well. He's started up his own studio called Wildflower Interactive. I think we might have talked about them on the podcast before.
I think we have.
And, yeah, it'd be interesting to see if, like, this again, this is pigeonholing a bit because Bruce Straley, ex-No Dog guy, Evan Wells, now an ex-No Dog guy, but if he went and offered his help building that company up.
Yeah, entirely possible. Anyway, yeah, something that everyone can kind of reflect on. I'm sure there is a game that everyone either played or really likes or at least knows about that has been the work of this man. So
hang on. Before we move on, can we just talk about how Evan Wells and Neil Druckmann had both sent a message to the studio and they open with dogs?
Yeah,
hey everyone, it's like dogs, because they're naughty dogs. I get that. It just imagine
the studio is also called the Kennel.
Yeah.
Fuck off! It is not.
It is. They've also got a very good work culture about letting dogs around the studio.
I hate that. I hate dogs around the studio. No.
Could you imagine if they didn't? Someone joins Naughty Dog. Hey, can I bring my dog into work? And they're like, no.
Who do you work for? Naughty Dog, and the dog just starts being upset.
I think when
you call him a bad dog.
I think in the Crash Team Racing scrapbook, they show one of the original dogs at Naughty Dog, like just the company dog that was always there.
Yeah, I don't like dogs at work. Keep dogs at home. That's a Steven thing, though. I'm at work to work. I will hang out with my friends if I want to hang out with dogs.
I can understand the confusion though, Steve, because I imagine every time Bobby Kotick addresses Activision Blizzard, he says, "Peasants, I have news."
Dear future suitors.
Hear ye, hear ye.
Future suitors. That's so bad.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Dear beloved former colleagues.
Dear diversity hires. It's company-wide email. Anyway, yeah,
from
interesting stuff.
the natural one.
From
the perfect cell. Dear barely people. Anyway, yeah, there's longer messages you can read from Evan and Neil. There's no point hashing them out here. You can go and read the words for yourself from Gumatsu, but we shall move on from sad news to even sadder news. The man that drew the funny.
I don't know about that. I find this incredibly funny.
I mean, Yuji Naka was given a suspended prison sentence. Is it sad? Is it funny that it was suspended, or that he isn't already in prison?
Yes.
Understandable. Have a nice day.
This man sent us Balan Wonderworld and got threatened with jail time.
And a fine. Actually, no, he wasn't threatened with the fine. He had to pay the fine.
Two fines even. I don't know if does it mention it in this article that it's 2 fines?
I believe we call that double fine.
Oh, it's fines totaling 1.2, so he probably just got a bunch of them.
Yeah.
$1.2 million plus 2.5 years in jail. Get fucked. Get fucking wrecked. That's what you get for unleashing Sonic on the world.
He's on a 4-year probation, so he'll essentially avoid that jail time if he just behaves himself for 4 years and doesn't get into any more trouble and doesn't do any more insider trading. Man, insider trading is so cool when it does this to Yuji Naka.
All right, so when is it not cool?
When it does it to me.
You just don't even know what insider trading is, do you?
I do.
What do you mean it does it? Insider trading does it to you?
I will simply find out when the company I work at is about to announce something good and buy stocks, and then sell those stocks after they announce the thing and the stock prices shoot up.
Yeah, okay. And just so for clarification, which company do you work for again, Seth?
I will not dox myself.
No, just a conversation. I don't really care. Just
Well, if you don't care, then I don't need to elaborate.
Just
speaking to the mic.
Yeah, someone else might want to. Like, I wouldn't. Like, not for me. Somebody else.
Well, it's with a heavy heart that I have to announce my departure from Naughty Dog.
Oh no.
Were you a bad boy? Okay, that was too far. Cut to commercial. Yuji Naka's in jail.
Not yet. He's not. He's threatened with jail time. God, I wish he was in jail though. It'd be so funny.
He wasn't literally first sentence is he's given a prison sentence.
Yeah, it's suspended prison sentence is essentially just he's on our watch, and if he does anything illegal within these next 4 years, he will be sent to prison for the prison time.
Oh, that's pretty weird. I've never been in trouble with police officers, so I don't know. Good on them. That makes sense. I'm sure he's learned his lesson.
I just want to see the look on his face of when he was insider trading and then when he found out it was illegal.
He knew it was illegal. They all know it was illegal. That's why he did it.
I could 100% believe that he didn't know it was illegal and he was doing it thinking, why hasn't anyone else done this before? This is so easy.
Maybe.
Do you reckon when he got handed the fines that all the money he made from insider trading fell out of him like Sonic rings?
It was even worse because he got fined more than he made on the insider trading. So that ring count went into the negatives.
What do you mean even worse? That's kind of what you'd want, right? It's not like, oh, you
even
did
worse
insider
for
trading.
him,
Only give me half of the money back.
Even worse for him, I mean, like it's multiple times. Like it's not even like 1.5 times. It's like I think it was like 20K all up. He made insider trading, and he's got to pay over $1 million.
I mean that's just funny.
Jesus.
That's just a rounding error.
Oh well, he'll make that money back in Balan's Wonderworld too.
Yeah, exactly. He has to go and take out a ring loan from some fucking loan shark just to have it punched out of him again, like by the court.
He sends.
Yeah, go. Mad.
Yeah, good chat.
Oh,
Common
fuck.
Seth moment.
No, my microphone cut out. I was saying, he makes a development proposal for Balan Wonderworld 2, and that's what gets him sent to jail.
We noticed that you've been remorseful after the insider trading bout. However, we also think that you're antagonizing the justice system by developing Balan's Wonderworld 2. Go straight to prison, do not pass go, do not collect $20,000 from insider trading.
It's also extremely funny because Yuji Naka threatened with jail time. Naoto Oshima, the guy that actually made Sonic the Hedgehog as like a character design, working on the next Sonic game. And they had a big falling out after Balan Wonderworld. Yuji Naka, they were like best friends beforehand. And after Yuji Naka got taken off Balan's Wonderworld, he's like, nah, fuck this guy. He takes all the credit for everything. I'm going to erase him from every picture we've ever had together. And I'm going to be extremely petty about him.
That's right. Yeah, he went like, he went fucking weird on Twitter about it. Like just like cropping him out of photos and stuff. Completely forgot about that. What a fucking, it's probably for the best.
Weird X moment.
Which is psycho moment, gaslight moment. You were never in this photo. What are you talking about? Anyway.
I was never inside, so how could I be insider trading? Anyway, very, very funny Funny.
Can we have court outside?
Outsider trading, more like. Am I right, fellas?
That's just stock. That's just a stock market.
Well, if you're trading outside.
It's insider trading when I'm buying Balan Wonderworld stocks, but it's outsider trading when I'm buying GameSpot trades.
You don't buy stocks into Balan Wonderworld. You buy stocks into the publisher of Balan's Wonderworld, like Square Enix, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's Square Enix.
Yeah.
God, that was like the worst thing they ever put out.
Oh, hang on.
Hold on, give them time.
Yeah, hang on. They've put out Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Balan Wonderworlds is like the worst thing they've ever put out.
Take the bait, you bastard. Anyway, I'm done. I'm sick of talking about Yuji Naka. There's more funnier things to talk about.
There is. So speaking of trading, what if I told you? All right, Steve, are you closed?
I'm listening.
Are your eyes closed?
Yep.
All right. Seth, get his wallet. All right, so Steve.
Quick, King hit him now.
Jokes on you, I lied. My eyes weren't closed. I was watching the boys score another try. All right. Woo! 22-10, my friend.
He's distracted by the footy. Smash a beer bottle over his head.
You were going to say beer can, weren't you?
No, I was going to say a beer glass.
Yeah, what type of beer? Name one beer, Seth. Name one beer.
You made it too easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Didn't realize we're naming flavors of water. So anyway.
Fuck you.
Speaking of trading, what if I told you that there was a commission of sorts for federal trades even, and they look at Activision Blizzard being bought by Microsoft and they went, not today. Well, Steve, I have good news for you.
What's the good news?
Are you ready for the good news?
No.
Okay. Well, we'll give it a minute.
All right. No, I'm ready. I'm revving you up.
All right. Are your eyes closed?
Yep.
Seth, get us one.
Jokes on you, I never closed my eyes. I was joking.
You can't say the same response twice.
I did. You did the same. Oh, that's it. I'm gonna.
Yeah, but it's funny when I do it. Anyway, so the FTC initially logged a preliminary injunction against Microsoft trying to buy Activision Blizzard, and it seems like the FTC has had that injunction overturned, which doesn't clear them from finalizing the deal, but it means that the deal can at least progress, because I think there's two parts of the FTC case, if I'm not mistaken. So they've made it through phase 1, although...
This is stopping them from going to phase 2, but from what I believe can happen is that the FTC can go around and go, hold on, can we get a second opinion sort of thing?
Yeah, it's in a weird appeals thing, I think.
Yeah, they can try to appeal the case.
Yeah. I want to throw it to resident ex-Chad Steve. What are your thoughts on this? You must be pretty happy.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's obviously not finalized, and there's stuff with the UK to sort out, but I'm sure, just like the Ashes, they'll come around and we'll end up winning anyway. I don't know. I don't watch cricket. Yeah, it's a long time coming, and it's especially funny because Phil Spencer tweeted, "We're grateful to the court for swiftly deciding in our favor." There's nothing fucking swift about it. Yeah, like common Microsoft code.
It is less than a week from the deal needing to be renegotiated. Yeah,
I was just about to say that. Like, they were very close to literally just pissing away a bunch of money and having nothing to show for it except from just egg on their face. So it is good. What this means for us ex-Chads, we'll see. Will we get World of Warcraft on Xbox? Will Diablo 4 come to Game Pass? Rats Queensland just got to try. It's very interesting. And while everyone's like, oh yeah, Call of Duty sort of stays like 10, 15, 20 years, number one, will Call of Duty still exist? Number two, will it only be Xbox? Yeah.
Call of Duty is all present like Assassin's Creed.
Maybe fucking Ubisoft is next then. Does Candy Crush come to Xbox or something?
On that, actually, no one wants to buy Ubisoft because it's just a money pit. They would rather wait for it to shut down and buy the IPs.
Yeah, you might be on here.
Which I think is just genuinely very funny.
Just let them implode.
Any day now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's. Look, I'm biased. I'll say it's good. Nothing's really being lost. It's not like as if Phil Spencer's coming out and just ripping the Call of Duty PlayStation copies off the wall. Yeah, but the ripple effect of this play won't be seen for like 5-10 years. And this does sort of position Microsoft in that they're no longer competing with PlayStation. They are competing with Amazon and Google. They're a tech company, not a gaming company. But it's Xbox on top, baby. So, just like with the 360, we were on top, and maybe not the Xbox Series
X. They actually
ended
up coming last by the end of that generation.
Yeah, I know. Don't bring that up, man. It's not fun.
But on that whole ripping things from PlayStation point, I want to quickly add on is that during these court proceedings, it's not in the news docket, but something that was brought up is that Machine Games, I think, is the one making it, is doing a Indiana Jones game, and that was slated for every console, but after they were bought up by Microsoft forced a new contract which turns that into an Xbox exclusive. So they do have the power to, like, after an Activision merger, just go, yeah, no, we're just going to all these other things that were going to be multi-platform. Like, yeah, we've promised Call of Duty, but everything else is just free game for us to devour. And I think that was like a big part of why Jim Ryan was so against it. He realized, they're just offering Call of Duty in a bad deal for us as well. Like, I think Microsoft wanted a weird split between revenue that Sony wasn't on board with, and that's what got Jim Ryan off his ass to try and stop the merger.
Well, yeah, and a big reason that the Xbox lost the last generation, apart from just positioning the Xbox One as a media device, was it just didn't have the exclusive. Like think about the best games of the PS4 generation. Fantastic games. I mean, there were exclusives as well. Like, you got your Horizons, you got your Uncharted, you got The Last of Us, you got Spider-Man, you got so many games that are exclusive. Days Gone.
Days Gone was not a good game.
I never played it. I've heard it's fucking garbage. But and when we're talking about like Xbox exclusives, there's like Halo 4 and 5. They weren't fucking very good. Halo 4 was.
Scalebound was massively excited, and then they cancelled that.
Yeah, like it just, I can't even think of it.
Sunset Overdrive was something I was interested in, and then it just turned out to be mid.
I like Sunset Overdrive.
I like it enough, but it doesn't. It's not like amazing like an Uncharted 4 is.
No, it was nothing on that scale, and whether that's because they got so spooked that they really couldn't develop their own IP, so they're like, okay, well,
they don't even own Sunset Overdrive either. Insomniac got to keep that.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. But it sort of shows that you need exclusives to drive it, but. Yeah, like it's
and then
maybe they banked too hard on the Kinect.
Let's be real. This court case also had like the president of the CEO of Microsoft coming out going like, yeah, no, we really wish we didn't have to do exclusives. If it was up to us, everything would release on everything, and there'd be no like exclusive race competition. And so I think exclusives are good in that they give a reason to own a platform. And when something is exclusive, it gets to use that platform to their greatest ability. So
because remember like in the late 90s how it was like Sonic, there was Mario was a big thing for Nintendo.
Yeah,
and
you got the Mario versus Sonic for the Nintendo versus the Sega. Then Crash Bandicoot enters the race with the PlayStation, and then at some point the PlayStation mascot became Lara Croft, apparently, even though she was on everything. She was on like the 3DO and the Dreamcast as well, but for some reason she became a PlayStation icon.
Yeah, and it's probably is like a common cope thing for me, but like you look at like everyone's like, oh no, it's bad for the industry. Look at what the shit that Activision is putting out at the moment, like Call of Duty, like it's.
They've only been putting out Call of Duty for the last couple of years. It's the other ends of the company that puts things out like King and Blizzard.
Well, what are we going to get? Overwatch? Blizzard? Sorry, not Overwatch. Diablo?
And there's okay, so there's another thing here in that Xbox is already making deals with Activision Blizzard in that they've got this whole Overwatch 2 starter pack. If you have Game Pass, like the game's free to play, but if you have Game Pass, then you get like a starter pack with it's got like the first 4 heroes that they released just for Overwatch 2 as part of it. It's like they're not exempt from making these sort of deals. And they try to be on the back foot saying, oh no, but Sony is cutting us out of the market of making these deals, but then they turn around and do these things themselves anyway. It's a bit of a weird argument they're making.
Yeah, well, it's just a bonus.
Yeah, and so my whole thing with this entire fiasco acquisition war thing is that I'm all on board for them to buy developers. I don't like them buying big publishers like this. I think buying up the big publishers like this puts a really weird, slippery slope war that's going to start up. Because eventually it's just going to start becoming, well, who's going to be next? Who's going to buy Ubisoft? Who's going to buy EA? Who's going to buy Sega? Who's going to buy Square Enix? And Square Enix, yes, makes a lot of PlayStation exclusives. They also make a lot of Nintendo exclusives. They also make a lot of multi-platform games. It'd be really weird to see them just one day be hard locks to one thing.
Oh, yeah. But look at that fucking hassle. It's been 18 months for Microsoft to get this deal through. Will it be worth it eventually? Like, I have to see how we go.
I'm still on the boat that I think this is not going to make it through. I think this case, like, it's finished too late. If the FTC does have the ability to go to do an appeal, that'll push it back even more. And even though people will say Microsoft will do it, I don't think they're going to close it and try to play a game of chicken with the CMA, because if they close it, they do have to pull all their resources out of the UK, and there's like they own like 3 developers in the UK plus a bunch of other things not gaming related they would have to pull out. It'd be really stupid to do that.
It'd be suicide. They can't do that.
Not to mention, so there's 2 parts of opposition. 1, CMA, which you've just brought up, true. 2, the New Zealand Commerce Commission.
Oh, they're talking about this.
I have not actually heard an update on that one.
They have been accepting submissions for the past couple of weeks. They initially announced their opposition to it, but they said they're considering. Wait, hang on, I need to make sure that I had that right. They are. I thought they were against it. Never mind. They are just. So they've published a statement of issues with the acquisition, but they haven't formally judged on whether or not they would let it go ahead for New Zealand. But they are accepting submissions currently, and they are expected to make a final decision by the 17th of July. I don't think there's been an update to that, but it would be very funny if the only thing stopping this giant merger, because a bunch of other countries have already approved it, right? Like the EU has already approved it, minus the UK.
Australia approved it.
Yeah, Australia approved it.
I don't think Australia has actually approved it yet. I've been hearing that it still needs to go through Australia as well.
But it would just be really funny if everyone else approves it, and then like New Zealand and the UK oppose it.
Look, it'd be one thing if it was just one. But having New Zealand also back them up would help, like the case of blocking it.
I don't know. I just think it's funny that in the grand scheme of things, we are 2 islands of 5 million people, and we're like, yeah, we don't think this should go ahead, even though literally billions of people are like on board with it. Like New Zealand's opposition to this is smaller than London's opposition to this.
Yeah.
And that to me is very funny, because we just have this big dick swinging thing about how big of a player we are, and it's like, are we? But yeah, it'll be interesting. We could continue going back and forth about this for ages, I'm sure. But final thoughts going ahead, yay or nay? Steve says yay, Saif says nay.
Yeah, I don't think it'll make it through.
I reckon it will.
What do you think? Let us know. But that brings us to the end of the news for this week, and therefore the old end of episode 81. I don't believe we have an audience question for this week. Doesn't look like it. Cool. That's totally fine.
I can make one up if you want.
Don't do that.
If I can get in contact with Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, but then the audience question would just be why. But
why don't you believe in me?
His thing is probably hello bobbers.
No. We joked about this. His thing would be hello less than people.
I'm throwing my head in the table. I think his thing would be to the person who took the last bottle of breast milk.
Wow.
I hate you.
You still referred to them as people, so, maybe he is improving. Anyway, if there is an audience question you'd like us to answer, get in touch. We're on Threads. Oh, wait, we're not. We're on Twitter at Fast Travel Lounge, minus one of the L's on Facebook at Fast Travel Lounge, and good old Fast Travel Lounge at gmail.com. It really helps us out if you give us a like, a rating, a review, perhaps, on the podcasting platform of your choice. Anything that you guys want to tease for next week? I guess we got Dragon Ball Z The Breakers chat to go through.
If we actually do, I might just end the podcast.
The mental trauma that would bring up. Will I finish God of War Ragnarok? Probably not, but there might be more of an update
Final Fantasy 16? Also probably not.
Yeah, also probably not, to be honest, but, maybe. Steve, anything from you to tease for next episode?
I've actually got a bachelor's party on the weekend, so we'll be at the strip club and I'll be playing Tears of the Kingdom in the corner.
Hey,
the correct thing to do.
They don't know that the tears are of my kingdom.
They don't know I'm the funniest person on a popular podcast.
But so this is my character Link, right?
What do you mean you play as Zelda, dumbass?
Oh, do you? Yeah. I can show them my Pokemon team that I'm building. I'm sorry.
Does it say The Legend of Link? No, it doesn't. Therefore, Link isn't very legendary, is he?
You know what? The legends aren't real. It's the link between the player and the legend.
There we go. And with that deep philosophical thought rattling around the mush of a brain that you probably have from listening to this for the past couple hours. Thank you so much for listening.
Steven, I hate you for what you put in this group chat.
Well, I put in the group. Oh, yeah, that's...
Okay, well, now you have to read it for the class, Saif.
No, this does not get read out loud.
I'll read it out loud. We can't do an audio medium and not do this.
I will simply put it up on the YouTube video.
Yeah, it's a picture of a Zonai device, which is a fan. It has the fan blowing towards one of the dragons with a caption that says 12,000-year-old unwashed Dragussi smells, and it's got a picture of Seth smelling it. Very funny content.
Well,
yeah, it's pretty gross.
We went from philosophical ponderings to wanting to end it all. What a crazy turn of events this has been.
You're welcome.
Anyway, thank you for listening to episode 81. I've been Patrick. I've been joined by Seth and Steve. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.
Happy birthday, Amazon.